I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if it was just, like, the atmosphere in my living space where I was watching this game, or if it was actually the contents of the game itself, but the Vancouver Canucks defeating the New York Islanders 4-3 in a very legitimate comeback win does not feel as good to me as I feel like it should. Maybe that's because heading into this game, I was kind of saying in my head, okay, the Canucks are playing the Islanders. Last time we said that, they absolutely got smoked. This time they're not playing Yaroslav Halak. This time they have to actually be the team that we think they could be against a team that we think the Islanders are. What are the Islanders? They're one of the worst teams in the NHL. They're one of the last teams in the entire Eastern Conference. And this is a team that, sure, even though they're not really, like, bottom of the bottom, like, they're not Montreal bad, they're not Buffalo bad, they're still kind of in the mix of that second-tier-ish sort of bad in the East over there. So even though Vancouver got absolutely smoked by them last time, this is a game where they need to show off, okay, Vancouver is better. They have to be better. They have to go out there and showcase definitively that they're better. But this was one of those games where even though they came away with the dub, even though they got 2 straight goals from Hoglander and Podkolzin in the span of like 45 seconds, even though that was the game-winning sequence for Vancouver, this game was far from flawless. And there are so many individual plays that you could highlight, so many clearing attempts that you could highlight, so many lucky calls, or non-calls, I guess you could say, that the Vancouver Canucks had skewed in their favor, that this win, to me, it doesn't really feel like a win. Like, I felt like this win could have easily been a loss had a few more of the randomized RNG factors that you usually get in these hockey games was just shuffled around a little bit. I feel like Vancouver did not play their best game in this one, even though they won 4-3, and even though they had some pretty good showcases from guys that you wanted to see improve offensively in the offensive zone. So let's go over the notes that I have here for Vancouver versus New York. Thursday, March 3rd, 7:10 p.m. is when I'm recording this audio right here. The Canucks kicked this period off in a very bad way. Adam Pelech at the point takes a long slap shot that gets saved by Demko, but the rebound flips up and lands on top of the Canucks net. There's still some kinetic energy there with the puck, so it eventually falls in front, right in the blue paint. Demko doesn't see it. Pelech tries to get another chance onto it, but it doesn't go. This is one of those moments immediately at the start of the game where I'm like, okay, look, the Canucks could easily have been down 1-0 here. Like, Adam Pelech just casually got that one on net, it bounced up, and it could have been in. But thankfully, the Canucks are still tied at 0. Sebastian Aho then goes off for holding. Unfortunately, it's not the very good Sebastian Aho from Carolina. This is the other one, the Swedish defenseman on the Islanders. And the Canucks cannot capitalize. It's still 0-0. The Islanders keep it down, and the Canucks are 0-for-1 on the power play. The Canucks in this period, though, they cannot capitalize on the opportunities they're getting. The Islanders are playing like a team that is as far low in the standings as they are, but the Canucks just cannot get one to go by Varlamov, and it's not even like Varlamov was going out there making some spectacular saves either. The Canucks just could not pull the trigger, they could not get that fine-tuned passing underway. And eventually, this was exemplified even more when Anders Lee trips Hughes and goes to the box. The power play movement for the Canucks to end off the first is so slow, and it ends off still 0-0. The Canucks have a few more seconds of power play time to kick off the second, and it doesn't really work. The second, though, starts off with some more offense from the opposite team. Hey, what do you say? It's Tyler Myers, a blind pass right in the Canucks zone on the boards. After he does a pretty good defensive play to steal the puck in the first place, he follows that up by the blind pass that goes right over to the Islanders' D. Eventually, there's a shot, it bounces out to the side, it's fed back to the blue line, and Noah Dobson rips one right through everybody, and it's 1-0 New York. Thank you, Tyler Myers. Keep that in mind, because when it comes to the Vancouver Canucks trying to move the puck up the ice from their own zone, that was a very common theme that they struggled with in this game, and it cost them the 1-0 goal thanks to Tyler Myers being Tyler Myers. Eventually, give it a few more minutes, it's Travis Hamonic who takes down an Islander behind the net, and he clears the puck to Hunt on the boards, who wires one by an unsuspecting Semyon Varlamov. It's 1-1, but like, immediately when that goal was scored, I was like, oh, okay, that's not a good goal. Like, I know it's a good goal in terms of the rules, like it's gonna count, but like, Hamonic very clearly got involved with the guy behind the net there, and the Islanders fans in the building were all raining down on the refs with boos and chants, condemning their decision to let the play go on. And honestly, from my perspective, I was like, yeah, okay, I could totally understand if that was actually called and the play doesn't go to a point where it becomes a Brad Hunt shot towards the goal. Yeah, it's a good goal on paper, but it's not a good goal to watch. It's 1-1 here, and the Vancouver Canucks tie it up. Brad Hunt gets his first goal in like a year, and we continue. Thatcher Demko has to be pretty busy afterwards because the Vancouver Canucks get hemmed in their zone with a few Islanders' chances and some good Islanders pressure. This is kind of what I was talking about as well, because once the Islanders really got their mojo going, it's almost like the Canucks completely forgot how to clear the puck out of the zone. Eventually, the Canucks do get some great chances afterwards. Tanner Pearson gets a breakaway, that doesn't go. Brock Boeser has a chance to dangle it out on the side around Varlamov, but he can't shove that in the open cage either. Eventually, it's Quinn Hughes who drops the puck on the half-boards over to Boeser, who throws it to the slot, and it gets tipped in by J.T. Miller, his 21st goal on the year, #1 Canucks point guy on this team, and there you go, he's upping his trade value right there. Alexis Lafreniere, maybe? I'm not really too sure. But Hughes to Boeser to Miller, perfect tip from the far side to the short side, it fools Varlamov. It is now 2-1 Vancouver. Now, from this point, I have it written out that the Canucks actually played like the better team from there on out. But that only really persisted for about 10 minutes because the Canucks, after doubling the Islanders in shots, lose a faceoff in their own zone. It gets over to Adam Pelech at the point. He throws it across to Palmieri, who one-times it in. It's a classic NHL 22 cross-crease goal. It's 2-2 at the end of the period, and this is one of those games where it's like, okay, if you look at it chance by chance, the Canucks had a higher quantity of chances. They looked like the better team with more control. But New York just comes back, and it keeps on giving Vancouver problems. And the third period kicked off in the same way. A Boeser turnover in the Canuck zone. Starts out the period, it's fed over to Anthony Beauvillier, who steals it. He comes in all alone on Demko. Demko makes the save, but then it goes off a Boeser's skate and in. Not a good goal. Brock, man, are you kidding me? That's one of the worst turnovers we have seen from Brock Boeser in his entire career so far. Like, I love Boeser as much as the next guy, but dude, definitely not one of his better moments over there. It's 3-2 Islanders to kick off the period, and to be fair, Boeser almost got it back because he shuffled to the side of the Islanders' net and tried to go top corner, hit the post instead on Varlamov. And immediately after, you could sort of see the energy kind of dwindle away, at least in my opinion. That's what I sort of felt like watching this game after the Brock Boeser turnover and the Beauvillier goal. And I was really happy to go out there and be proven wrong, because all of a sudden, it's Connor Garland who gets himself a very nice shift in the offensive zone. He tries a tight angle shot, it gets stopped. There's another play where Hoglander sends it over to Garland, and he picks it up on the backhand behind him. He spins around, and he tries to come in for another shot. Shifty movement right here, but instead of shooting it, he finds it over to Hoglander. Cross-crease goal, tic-tac-toe right there. Actually, just a tick in the toe because there's no tack. 3-3. Hoglander finally gets himself a goal. It's his first goal in like however many games it's been. The guy has been cold the past few weeks. He needed this one. It ties the game up. It's a really big goal. And then Vasily Podkolzin scores right after, 45 seconds later, when he flips the puck out of the Canucks zone into the center ice area. It's picked up by Horvat along the half boards, who feeds it into the middle for Podkolzin, who shoots it and scores. 4-3 is the score after this goal. 4-3 is the score at the end of the game. The Canucks clamp things down and end up winning. After what is a whole bunch of Islander pressure, the Canucks trying to go out there and get the empty net goal. They cannot do that. They have some major troubles, also trying to get it out of the zone as well. Demko has to be real sharp, and this was one of those segments where, yeah, I know, I'm happy that the team won. I'm happy that they actually beat a team that they should be able to beat, but I wasn't really convinced. Like, the way they played, the way they cracked down on their pressure, the way the turnovers were giving out Myers and Brock and all the stuff in the defensive zone, I feel like if you had any other regular goaltender in this game that was not named Thatcher Demko, this would have been an easy New York win. Like, it would have been 5-6-4. Like, you would have remembered that beginning chance where Pelech had the shot go off the top of the net. Like, this is kind of what I was talking about. Even though the Vancouver Canucks won, I don't think this was a good win. No. They capitalized on their chances, and at times they looked like the better team, but for a team that is so much worse than Vancouver in the standings, this Islanders squad should not have had the opportunities that they had. At least, that's how I feel about it. Maybe you can let me know in the comments if I'm just being a Debbie Downer for the sake of being a Debbie Downer, but let me know in the comments all your thoughts about this game as well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.